Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So today is going to be a super useful video because I'm going to show you a very early video that I made on another channel that featured all the hate and doubt that Tesla was receiving. And I think this is super important to see because if you were not following the stock market at that time, you might think that everyone was telling you to buy Tesla and they had perfect quarters. And, you know, everybody was believing in Musk and everybody was thinking that Musk is a perfect CEO. The reason why I think this is super important to watch because Palantir came out with their Q2 earnings and the Palantir community went like this.
Alexa, the time has come. Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord, it will be done. The Palantards will be hunted down and destroyed.
There we go.
So meanwhile, this is super funny. There's absolutely no reason to freak out if you're really a long-term investor because your company had a not so great quarter and this quarter wasn't even that bad. And I'm really not trying to say Palantir is the next Tesla. What I'm trying to show you is if you believe in the company, how much naysaying you're going to have on the way. This is a really fantastic video. I really recommend you watch it to the end and let me know what you think in the comments and if it applies to Palantir or any other stock that you're invested in. And as always, if you like this, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want to go further, check out the first link where you can support us on Patreon. See you later.
Very unlikely that the Tesla investment is ever repaid to the taxpayers. Electric vehicles are really not possible in ways that would be effective for most consumers still. This is just the religion of electric vehicles, and like Jonestown, that religion will come to an end.
You put $90 billion, like 50 years worth of breaks into solar and wind, to Solyndra and Fisker and Tesla and Enter1. I mean, I had a friend who said you don't just pick the winners and losers, you pick the losers.
Not really so much a loser company because not only are they paying the federal government back the loan, they're actually paying it back 5 years early.
By 2007, Tesla was running out of money fast. No one wanted to step up to save the unproven automobile startup. Elon had to take the leap alone.
We had to go in and make some really hard decisions on personnel changes.
Eberhard didn't go quietly. He sued Elon for libel, slander, and breach of contract.
I believe that I was scapegoated to take the blame for the programs that were not run well.
Musk resolved the dispute through mediation, but his company was in serious financial trouble. They worked around the clock, stealing naps on the factory floor, right up to the deadline.
The Daimler executives arrived not at all convinced that it made any sense to work with an American car company, let alone a little tiny American car company in Silicon Valley.
The Daimler executive went for a test drive. When he came back, a breakthrough. A $70 million contract for Tesla to make electric smart car batteries. Musk's personal life wasn't working out either. He had married Justine in 2000. They have 5 kids, all born within 2 years. Then the marriage fell apart.
I got divorced, personal life in somewhat of a shambles, and in addition getting attacked by some in the media, my ex-wife, every bad thing you could imagine. We were able to solve the problems, and then just as we'd solved those problems, we ran smack into the worst economic recession since the Great Depression.
It's been one of the darkest days on Wall Street in recent memory. Stock markets falling the most since 9/11, the Dow off more than 500 points.
This is what financial Armageddon looks like. Red screens that scream sell, sell, sell.
As 2008 drew to a close, Musk faced the worst crisis of his career. All 3 of his companies appeared to be in free fall.
The worst point was probably just the weekend before Christmas in 2008. We had the economic tsunami take place and made things even worse. If it wasn't needed, we had to shut it down and just figure out how do we get through the stock period and not go bankrupt.
Musk was in the fight of his life.
We had maybe about a week's worth of cash in the bank or less, and there was just very little time left in the year to resolve these things. I mean, there were like 2 or 3 business days left in the year. I never thought it was possible for me to have a nervous breakdown, but if it was possible for me to have a nervous breakdown, that was about as close as I was going to come.
He told me that he was waking up in the middle of the night and there would be tears on his pillow, and that must have been disturbing and scary. I think it was a dark time.
I had to make a choice then that either I took all of the capital that I had left from the sale of PayPal to eBay and invest that in Tesla, or Tesla would die.
Musk personally guaranteed $40 million more to avert the company's collapse. His total investment in Tesla would be $75 million.
And that incredible braggadocio confidence catalyzed a change in people's opinion. And we and everyone else around the table was like, oh my gosh, we want to be part of this. We want to get as much of this investment as we can. He saved the company in its darkest hour with an act of heroism that is hard to describe.
In March 2009, Musk unveiled the prototype for the Model S, which could hold 7 passengers and as much luggage as a station wagon. But to build it, he knew he would need at least a piece of the U.S. government's new $25 billion loan program to support alternative energy vehicles. Government funding suddenly became controversial when New York Times writer Randy Strauss called the program the bailout of very, very high net worth individuals who invested in Tesla Motors Act. Musk fought back.
Randy Strauss is a huge douchebag. And an idiot.
Musk's success continued in 2010 as he took Tesla public, announcing the IPO in June. But it was a move that brought the Tesla doubters out in droves.
Things really got ugly. I mean, they brought up the divorce. They brought up past problems at Tesla. They brought up, Elon's background.
Tesla stock voted by Wall Street as the least likely to succeed.
You don't want to own this stock. You don't want to lease it. Heck, you shouldn't even rent the darn thing.
We've confounded the critics at every turn. So at a certain point, people have to get tired of being wrong.
The IPO was such a success that Tesla's net worth rose to almost $2 billion. Taking one of his biggest risks ever, acquiring a huge car-making plant near San Francisco, abandoned the previous year by Toyota.
The reality is, for very little money, Toyota got an albatross off its books. From an industry perspective, it looked incredibly savvy on Toyota's part and incredibly naive on Tesla's part. Car factories are big pieces of sunk capital. To retool a factory takes a tremendous incremental investment.
I don't see how even the Morgan Stanley analyst and the Goldman Sachs analyst can put a positive spin on this one, although God knows they'll try.
But what I do think is that the average consumer can't afford $70,000 for an EV car, and they're expecting 21,000 vehicles to be sold this year. That may be a very aggressive estimation when you look at the sales of EV cars across, and every single manufacturer is taking a loss.
This caravan really was shaping up to be something wonderful. But then...
Tesla downgraded to a sell, probably not surprising to our Jim Cramer. You've been warning about things with Tesla.
I mean, here's the problem with Tesla. It's a cold stock.
But the business absolutely is lousy, and people are finally starting to figure it out.
Is Tesla about to get totaled? One of the auto industry's best experts says yes, and she's here to explain why. Its epic run is sure to come to an end.
It said that all the institutions have pulled away, and what's left is speculators and a lot of day traders. So right now, today, they boosted the price up a little over $2 a share. If it were me, I'd be selling.
Mark, you got to drive the car.
I understand. I just don't know where I'm going to plug it in, Andrea.
Well, Elon says
maybe around maybe around Silicon Valley you can do that kind of thing, but in Northeast Florida there's absolutely no place to charge a Tesla that I'm aware of.
Me, it's Consumer Reports says it as well. Yeah, it's a good car.
Wait, Andrea, please, for just for a moment. You've got a business that lost twice as much money as it did 4 years ago on an operating basis, over $300 million, and it has 2.5 times as many shares. I'm going to be able to wallpaper a new bathroom with shares of Tesla.
Amazon.com. Almost every manufacturer is coming up with a plug-in car. The Nissan Leaf has had really good sales. Ford has EV cars. BMW's bringing in an EV car. Almost every single manufacturer is bringing in an EV car. Fiat has the 500e. They sold them out.
Well, Betty Lou, they couldn't even sell Chevy Volts.
No.
They quit production of Chevy Volts.
Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, GM, Audi, and Porsche are all coming out with 300-mile electric luxury sedans. I think they're doomed.
I don't think so. They're not going to sell 20,000 cars this year.
Tesla sales have soared. Third quarter sales of the Model S all-electric sedan jumped 59% from last year, making the Tesla Model S the country's best-selling luxury sedan in the third quarter, and doing it with impressive style. The margin isn't even close.
They lose a ton of money with essentially no direct competition, and yet there is a massive amount of competition coming very, very soon.
Somehow it's levitating, and I think it's Elon Musk is the greatest salesman in the world. He paints this vision of an unlimited future, aided and abetted by some analysts who say, I mean, it's like Elon Musk has been beamed down from another planet to show us mortals how to run a company.
Also, what's going to be more difficult? I mean, producing some cars or retiring on Mars? I mean, it's all relative with Elon Musk.
That's true.
You know, he's got a lot of goals that are different from yours.
And it has been losing money selling $120,000 cars, but it hopes to make money selling a $35,000 car.
His Model S, the car that seems to have recharged the electric car concept, received a rare negative review when S&P labeled its manufacturer Tesla's debt as B- or a junk bond.
The fact of the matter is, it costs more, and there are two major issues. It's not an interstate car. And secondly, it takes a long time to power up when you're out of battery.
And what is extraordinary is, since it was launched a couple of days ago, more than 276,000 people around the world have put down their $1,000, £1,000, €1,000 deposit. That we're talking billions of pounds have gone into Tesla Motors. And here's the important thing. No one in the world outside of Tesla has driven the car. No members of the press, no members of the public. Very, very few people have actually seen it. And yet 276,000 people have said, yes, I want one. Now that has really caught the attention of the automotive industry as a whole. No one queues up outside a showroom of another car manufacturer to put the deposit down on a car that they won't possibly see before the end of 2017 if they're lucky, and probably in this country more likely the middle of 2018. It's unprecedented. It truly is remarkable. I'll go even further. It's barking mad.
He's losing over $16,000 per car on his high-end cars. I will make a bet on TV right now. The Model 3 will not come out on time. It will not cost the $33,000 or $35,000, and Tesla will not make money on the car, and a lot of the 300,000 orders will evaporate by the time we get there.
We have some good news. Tesla boss Elon Musk says the car has passed all regulatory requirements for production 2 weeks ahead of schedule.
So let's hand over some cars. We have the first 30 production cars here being charged right now, right there.